Is this the world's best sashimi? Hi, my name's Roger Osborne. You know, I have spoken to some champion spear fishermen and just general fishermen who catch Mahi Mahi, tuna, kingfish, snapper, a whole variety of species, and they tell me that Australian salmon trumps the whole lot. And I've tried it myself. It is absolutely beautiful. In this video, I'm going to teach you how I fillet and prepare an Australian salmon, and then I'm going to slice it into this amazing sashimi. I'll test some, I'll eat some, and I'll show you exactly how to do it. Also in this video, I'm going to give you some instruction on how you catch and land Australian salmon, because they are different to other fish. And there are some key things when you're on the beach when it comes to landing them and hooking them. Stick around to the end for a free PDF download which will outline some vital keys from today's session. If you're enjoying my content, I love it when you subscribe, really helps my channel. So make sure you like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Let's get into it. I missed it. Oh, I'm getting another bite, I think. Okay, first let's talk about catching and landing salmon. The tips that I'm sharing will give you a much higher chance of success. That was nuts. Now, when it comes to catching Australian salmon, they are very prevalent along the east coast, in particular down south into Victoria. Actually, they catch them in Tasmania as well. They kind of get less common as you head up to the north coast and towards Queensland, but certainly Sydney, right down the south coast, there's an absolute abundance of salmon. Now, you don't necessarily need to be time of day specific for salmon. You can catch them pretty much any time of the day. And the way to do it is they like fish baits. They love pilchards. Any piece of fish really that's filleted and put on for bait is very good. Also, obviously, they love beach worms. They really woof them, and squid. Now, when you're catching Australian salmon, they are amazing fighters. They pull really hard. They leap out of the water. But you've really got to watch it when you get them near the edge, because often on the beach you have waves that are drawing back into the surf with a lot of power. And if you are trying to drag a fish up the beach while you've got a wave going down the beach, it's just a recipe for disaster. And that's where most people lose their fish, not just salmon, but other fish. So you have to use the waves to your advantage. You need to be patient when you're on the edge. Keep your eye on the fish and try and bring the fish up with a wave. Use the momentum of the wave to bring the fish up the beach. Okay, where are you, mate? There we go. Alrighty. In this next clip, you'll see why I had to have double patience, and there's also one more important piece of information that will help you catch more fish. Double trouble. And it didn't take long to get a bite really on that cast. Now, I've got two fish on this line, so I'm not going to be able to drag it up the beach all that easy. I'm going to need to use the water to help me get my line up. There's a wave coming. There's a bit of a wave coming here. Oops, there go the fish again. I'm going to try and bring them up with this wave. But look at that. Double salmon. A double whammy. I thought I might have had two. It felt a little bit heavy. So what I did just then is I'd had 4 or 5 casts straight out in front of my gear. I caught a nice whiting on my second cast. I had maybe 3 or 4 more casts without a bite. And I could see the deeper water was a bit closer to shore, down the beach a bit, so I wandered maybe about 80 metres or 100 metres down the beach and had a cast there. And first cast I got a double hook up on salmon. So I wasn't going to continue just tossing out here not getting any bites. I wanted to prospect and try down there, because I thought, well, maybe there's a school of fish down there, and it proved to be true. So that's just a good lesson. And I know I've mentioned that before. You don't just keep tossing the line out in the same spot if you're getting no action. It's good to move around and test different parts of the beach. So those are some tips on how to catch and land a salmon successfully. Just quickly, if you're as passionate about fishing as I am, and you really want to improve and enjoy it even more, why don't you join Roger's Fishing online fishing club, my membership. I've got some amazing people who are members, and we all share our information with each other. There's so much content on there. There's all my fishing courses, plus there's a heap of stuff that's not available on YouTube. And there's no lock-in contracts. You can leave anytime you want. So head on over to rogersfishing.com and check it out. I've come down to a local boat ramp. It's got one of these nice stainless steel cleaning tables, which is just at the right height for filleting. Just much easier than doing it down on the beach or other places. So I brought a couple of goodies with me. I've got a nice cutting board, and I've got a lovely little brace of salmon that I caught. So I'm going to first of all fillet one of these. I'm going to show you how I do it. Now, I'm someone who likes to keep things super simple, so I actually don't bother gutting or scaling my fish. I just whip the fillets straight off. I leave the scales on. I mainly leave the scales on because I want to skin it. I'm removing the skin. That's how I eat my salmon. So I'm going to start off here with the salmon. We'll take a couple of fillets off, and then I will show you how I prepare it and get it ready for sashimi. So first of all, I'm going to mark in up here, up towards the shoulder of the fish. I try to go as high as I can up here because there's a lot of meat up on the shoulders just here. So I've just put a slice through there. When you're cutting through, you can't cut with your knife like that. You're going straight into the scales. You've got to come on an angle to get underneath the scales. When you're slicing into the meat, you need to go on an angle like that. So I've done that. I'm going to walk down to the back of the fish here. I'm just going to repeat it. I'm not going to go all the way to the tail. So I've come in on an angle like that. Now that I've done that, I'm going to, using the tip of the knife, just gently come along the top here, right up against these fins at the top. Just gently, I think how much of the knife, I've only got that much of the knife in there. Oh, I can hear that pelican. So I'm coming along all just gently. You want to be careful, always got to be careful with a knife, you don't want to cut yourself. And then you'll see here, if I open this up, I'm just going to gently feather the knife down and follow the bones down to the midpoint, which is the backbone. You can see the backbone of the fish there. So now once I've followed it up down to the backbone, I'm just going to now follow that through all the way to the other side like that. Now there's a row of bones just here that you need to cut through. These exist in nearly just about all fish, so I'm just going to spin this fish around. I'm going to cut through there. So I'm lifting this bit up here, watching where my fingers are. I'm just going to cut through that row of bones and pull that fillet off. You can just see there the skeleton of the fish with the bones that going diagonally along this way. It's very good when you're cutting here to come sort of against the way that the bones go. It's much easier rather than, for example, coming from this end that way. I like coming against there like that and then reversing it on the other side. So now I'm going to flip this fish over and take the other fillet off. But look at that, isn't that a beautiful piece of fish? So now I'm going to turn this fish over and repeat the process. Just gently coming under the scales here, right up the top of the fish so as not to waste too much flesh. Then I'm going to cut on an angle down here, down the end. Once again, I'm going to turn it around. Although this way is kind of opposite. On the other side, I came from the tail to the head. When you do the opposite fillet, I'm doing from the head. Now I'm making sure that I don't press too hard when I'm coming down here, because otherwise I'll just cut through the bones. And then I'm going to gently, like I did on the other side, just follow it down till I get to that backbone. And then down the bottom here, I'll just go over the backbone and just take it along those bottom bones there, remove that part of the fillet. Then I'm going to, as I did with the other one, come up to the top and cut through that line of bones that was there and just come over that rib cage and remove the fillet. So we've got two beautiful fillets here of Australian salmon, absolutely beautiful. And this is just a moderate sized fish. It's probably about a 50 centimetre salmon, just a good eating size. Now I'm going to feed one of these pelicans who are so close to me, right at my back. Oh, he's literally, oh come on mate. Oh, Look how close these dudes are. Hey, look, I wasn't giving it to you yet. Just calm down. Whoa! Yeah, they get so keen, those birds. There's a whole bunch of them, but I've only got 5 fish, so it's only a couple of them are going to miss out. Anyways, I'm going to show you now. I've filleted this salmon. I'm going to remove the skin and the scales and remove the bloodline. So let's get into that. As I mentioned, I don't scale the fish because you can't really skin it. So I hold on to the end of the fillet. I'm going to run my knife in like this and have it on a slight angle because I don't want to cut straight down to the board. Probably about a 15-degree angle. I'm just going to wiggle the knife and also hold the end of the fish and wiggle the fish, so that what I've done here is I've now removed the flesh. You can see there, you've got the skin and the scales all in one piece. Look at that. So now I'm going to discard this. I'll throw that to one of the pelicans. Now you'll notice when I flip this fillet over of this salmon, you can see the blood. Now essentially most of that blood runs down the center part of the fish here. I'll show you how I remove it. It's pretty easy really. When I get a fillet of Australian salmon, now there's a few bones just here, which we always need to remove. From about this point onwards down here, this is all flesh, there's no bones down there. But what I do, rather than just cut a little V here and remove those bones, I actually cut the whole fillet in half. I slice down beside where the bones are. So what I do is, as I go down, I turn my right knife around. It's like I'm going around a corner, and I'll explain to you why, you'll see in a minute. So essentially, I slice down beside the bones and then go around the corner on a bit of an angle, and I do that right along the length of the fillet, like that. So then I've separated here, that side, you can see there, bones actually run down there. Then I'm going to repeat that on the opposite side. I'm going to cut in close along there, and then I'm just going to bend it around the corner a little bit. I'm sacrificing a little bit out of the middle of this fillet, but you can see what I've done here is I've taken this central section out of the fillet, which really, if you look at that, look at that. That's that whole bloody goopy bit. Now, mind you, I actually bled this fish when I caught it, so it's actually really important to bleed the fish, because even once you've bled the fish, you still get this bloodline in the middle. Now, I'm just going to move these to the side, but you look here now, look at that wonderful piece of fish that we have there, which is completely boneless. So I'm going to turn this over, and you will see now that there's not a lot of that bloodline left, because I've removed it. Now I'm going to just move this piece like this and show you the final step in preparing this. This is what I normally do. You just put your knife gently underneath the blood like that. You might lose a little bit of flesh. And you slice, you just carefully slice underneath like this, up the length of the fillet. And so I've really just taken that bit out there, and you can see what we have left here is almost perfect. I will just remove this little bit of blood there. I don't think I would bother taking anything else off this fillet. So what I have here is I have the bloodline and that little bit of extra stuff I've taken off the fillet, but look at this fillet. Now honestly, there's no way you could knock that back. That is an amazing piece of fish. And we're going to slice that up into some sashimi in a minute. So that's how I actually prepare the fillet ready for sashimi. What an absolutely beautiful piece of fish flesh. This is just 1/2 of one fillet of Australian salmon. You can see I've removed all the bloodline from it. It's absolutely beautiful. Now I beer batter this, fantastic. I chop it up and put it in a red curry or a yellow curry, do all sorts of things with it. But this same piece of salmon fillet I'm going to slice up in a minute into some sashimi. And you'll see how amazing it looks, and it actually is. So I'll put this guy down, just going to finish the other side of that fillet, and we'll get straight into it. So that's the first half. This is, mind you, it's only one fillet, so this is the other half of that fillet. All you need to do is just poke your knife underneath there, and then you can just take this piece off. You can see it's relatively easy to do. Just to run your knife along there like that, take a little piece off there, and now I'll put that beside the other fillet, and you can see that what you have there, that's the result of just one half of a salmon, one fillet. Now I'm going to just toss this middle section to Mr. Pelican over here, just see if his mates get excited. Oh, look what it is. Oh, that was relatively calm that time. Oh, they get a bit boisterous. Now, I am going to be doing another video shortly on how to sharpen your knives for fishing. I used to be a butcher. I was actually a butcher for 6 years. I did my full apprenticeship and then worked for a couple of years after that as a butcher, and then some part-time. So I spent a lot of time with knives and stoning knives, sharpening knives. So I'll teach you how to sharpen your knives and how to have really good knives for your fishing, and also how to use a steel properly, because a steel is a great tool. That guy there. This one's almost perfect anyway. Not much to do there. I've got the skin and the scales of one of these salmon. Oh, mate, that guy's, look. Oh, he got it. Hey, what about this one? What about that bit? Oh! Got to make sure you get all the sand off the fish. You don't want any sand on there. Okay, boys. Hey, I'm going to chuck it in the middle of them. I want to see them compete. Okay, boys, I'm not just going to hand it to you, mate. I'm going to chuck it near those guys. Whoa! Anyway, now it's time to do the sashimi. I get my S's all mixed up when I try to say sashimi. Anyways, now I'm just going to give my knife just a quick tickle with the steel. Just a little one. So, alrighty, we've got a couple of absolutely beautiful pieces. You saw me prepare this salmon before. So all I'm going to do is start to slice it thinly for sashimi. The first couple of pieces are a little bit rough because you're just getting the end piece of the fillet off. And then I'm going to put it on that plate there, and we're going to serve it up with a bit of soy and wasabi. Now, all I'm going to do here is I'm going to just gently slice this end piece off. Now look, you know, really you wouldn't even want to waste that little bit of flesh. And what we're doing is we're slicing on an angle, just gently slicing on an angle. So we're really shaving it in small shaves, like that. You don't have to be super thin when you're doing this. You can slice it a bit thicker, it's just still going to be just as delicious. So just gently slicing it through into these beautiful thin little slivers. You could also eat this ceviche by putting some lemon juice or lime juice onto it. You can see once you've got a little bit of a roll on, you can see that lovely face, that lovely cut face there. You just really maintain that angle, or sometimes get a bit more of an angle. Just slice that through like that. I'll just do another bit on a bit of an angle like that. All right, now I'm going to put this on the plate and you'll see how it looks. Okay, so look at that. That's a beautiful piece of fish flesh there. I'm just going to just lay this out. Now, if you had some friends around, if you've caught some salmon, you've got some friends around and you want to have a really amazingly healthy, fresh, beautiful entree, imagine having some of this beautiful salmon sashimi'd. How good does that look? That is incredible, seriously. As I mentioned earlier, I know some pretty gun spear fishermen. These guys, they jump on jet skis and travel 50 to 60 Ks off the coast here, dive off their jet skis, spear big yellowfin and bluefin tuna. They spear massive kingfish and Mahi Mahi, all the different fish, but those guys reckon that the Australian salmon is better than all of those fish for sashimi. And I have since, once they made that recommendation, I've got into it and it is absolutely beautiful. So now I'm going to put a little bit of soy and wasabi together and dip a bit of that beautiful fish in and enjoy it. Not too much. I've got my tube of wasabi, squeeze that baby. I don't mind a little bit of heat, so just squeeze a little bit of that in there, get off there. Beautiful. Now, I don't have much stuff with me, my fingers are clean, so I'm going to mix that up with my finger. You could use a spoon or a fork or whatever just to mix that in. Okay, so I've mixed my soy and wasabi. Now I'm going to get a bit of this beautiful flesh. Look at that. So I've dipped that beautiful bit of salmon in there. That's amazing. A little bit of spice with that wasabi, but the flesh is beautiful, absolutely beautiful. I really want to encourage you to have a go at doing this. It's not that difficult, and I think you'll be converted once you've tried it. So I've taken a few slices off this piece of salmon, but look at that for beautiful fish flesh. And you know, these things really are a wonderful Australian fish, a great sports fish, and I can highly recommend catching them. They really do exist, and they're actually making a huge, I wouldn't say comeback, there's just so many of them, they're everywhere, certainly down where I live anyway, and in Sydney too, so what a great fish. If you'd like a free PDF download of some vital keys from today's session, hit the link in the corner or in the description below. Now remember guys, it's really important to bleed your salmon. If you're going to keep them for bait, don't bleed them, you want the blood in the flesh. But if you intend to eat the salmon, as soon as you catch it, brain spike it, bleed it straight away so all of that excess blood gets pumped out of the fish. Just makes the flesh a lot cleaner. You will still have a bloodline, but it makes it that much better. I love it when you make comments. If you've got any questions around this video today, filleting, anything that I've done, please put those questions in the comments. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time.